Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the first listening session for the Medical Psilocybin program. Thank you for being here this evening. By registering and joining this virtual setting, you are agreeing to be recorded and for the recording to be public. If you do not agree, you may log off the meeting at this time. I am Dr. Dominic Zerlo, and I am the Director for the New Mexico Department of Health Center for Medical Cannabis and Psilocybin. Joining me today from the department is Brenda Martinez, the Deputy Director for our center, as well as Rosalie Nava, our Health Education Program Manager. We also have joining us Carmen Batista, Katie Freitag, and Adrian Estrada, who are our health education team for the Center for Medical Cannabis and Psilocybin. Also joining us to help with technical issues and with ensuring that we stay on track and on time is Kathy Ojiri, our IT project manager. As a brief update for the program, as I am sure all of you know, Senate Bill 219, the Medical Psilocybin Act, was passed by the New Mexico State Legislature and signed into law by Governor Lujan Grisham this past spring. The statute took effect on June 20th, 2025, and requires the Department of Health to stand up the program by December 31st, 2027. Currently, the program is working with both the Office of the Governor and the Office of the Secretary to assemble the Medical Psilocybin Advisory Board. This process should result in the board being seated in September, as has been previously announced. Once it is seated, there will be several additional public meetings and listening sessions scheduled. Some of these will be conducted in person, and some will be virtual or hybrid. The initial and primary purpose for the board is to create, review, and recommend rules, regulations, and protocols for the structure and management of the medical psilocybin program to the Secretary of Health. With this in mind, please remember that specifics such as what licensures will be required to refer or certify patients, types of training and educational curriculum which will be needed, requirements for cultivators, and protocols for treatment have not yet been determined. This listening session and future listening sessions are one way for the board members and the program to hear ideas, thoughts, and concerns from the different community members who are or who may be involved in the program. As a reminder, this is being recorded, and the recordings will be made public on the program website. And please see the chat for the link to the program website, as well as the slide being shown at this time. One exception to this, and we do ask for your help with regard to this, is please remember to refrain from using profanity or inappropriate language so that because this is going to be online and available to the public, we want to ensure that individuals who may be under the age of 18 and may watch this recording in the future are not exposed to inappropriate language. If there is inappropriate language, it may result in the recording not being made available to the public, but would still be available upon request. As we start the listening session portion of this evening, in order to speak, please raise your hand. If you are on a computer, you can use the hand icon near the top of the Teams window, and it says raise under the icon, and in the image being shown, it is circled by the yellow box on the image. If you are on the Teams app on a phone, please press the ellipses, the three dots in the menu, and then the hand icon will appear and you can select it. If you are joining on phone and through voice only, you can press *5 to raise or lower your hand. And just as a note, once you are called to speak, you will be unmuted from the listening session, and you will be able to then unmute yourself or mute yourself as you would like. And to do so, please click on the mic icon. If you are on the phone and you are if you are on the phone and voice only, you can do that by pressing *6. We will go through the list in the order of people raising their hands. We will take comments from as many individuals as possible within the time allotted, which is until 6:30 p.m. Each individual will have up to 3 minutes to speak. When it is your turn to speak, your name will be announced as it appears in the meeting, and you will be able again to unmute yourself at that time. If you join by voice only, again, you may unmute yourself by pressing *6. Please state your full name, and if you are here representing yourself, or if you are here representing an organization or company, which please announce which organization or company that you are representing. You may then make your statement. There will be a notification provided to help you complete your statement when 30 seconds remain in your time. At 3 minutes, your microphone will be muted. If at the end of the list of people who would like to speak, there is still time, anyone wishing to speak a second time will be provided with an opportunity to raise their hands again. The listening session will end again at 7:30 p.m. And if there are more individuals who would like to speak than the time permits, we will encourage you to join some of the other listening sessions as they are scheduled. There is currently another listening session scheduled for Wednesday, September 3rd at 3 p.m. To register for that, you can visit the program website. And again, the program website is available at this address listed on the screen. If you wish to provide a written statement, options to do so will be provided at a later time and will be announced on our program website, and this will occur after the board has been seated. Please remember this is a listening session and the program will not be answering questions at this time. An FAQ will be published soon, and information from the listening session may be used in it, especially to answer questions that may arise. Thank you. And at this time, for individuals who are interested in speaking, please click on the hand raise button and we will go ahead and start.
Okay, the first request, Shane McDaniel, please unmute your line.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, it wasn't allowing me to unmute there for a second.
No worries.
Yeah, my name is Shane McDaniel. I'll be the CEO and co-founder of a company called MBS Retreat, standing for Mind, Body, and Spirit. We are going to hopefully be involved in a couple of different areas of psilocybin assisted therapy. I have experience in mycology growing mushrooms, so we're looking to be cultivators. I'm also a certified psychedelic assisted therapy integration coach, so I will be providing integration coaching. I will also be at some point hopefully opening up a full service retreat. What I'd like to know now is, are you guys looking for additional support to help with subject matter experts, or specific to like integration coaching and how that's going to be ran, as well as helping to educate communities, be it local or county or even at the state level? And then will there be any kind of pilot programs? Kind of specifically what I would like to find out about is there going to be anything early on, maybe dealing with microdosing and the efficacies of microdosing and how that works, and if you guys are interested in that. And then, like I said, finally, if there's any need for any kind of subject matter expertise or consulting to help you guys with, you know, any information you guys may need. I don't know what level of expertise the members of the board have. That might mean something nice to know for us is, you know, maybe on your website, kind of put a little bio of the board members so we kind of know who we're talking to and what kind of expertise you guys have. And that's pretty much it. So you said you're not going to be answering questions today, though, right?
That
That's
is correct, Mr. McDaniel.
Okay.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next is Cindy Ham. Cindy, please unmute your line.
Hi, everybody. My name is Cindy Ham. I'm representing myself, and I think it's a concern that we should keep in mind that psilocybin has been used for many, many generations by spiritual leaders or healers. And in America, we have the right to follow our own religion in the comfort of our own home, so it doesn't necessarily always require a leader. So I think that as one of our American rights, we should also be allowed to grow some magic mushrooms for our own personal medicinal use at home. And so I'm hoping that that will be something that will be included in the setup of how medical mushrooms are going to be handled here in New Mexico, whether it be, you know, our shamans and our gurus, or whether it would be as an individual who would like to look up some information maybe on the websites and try and find mushrooms integrated into their own life in a way that does not necessarily involve a doctor or a clinical office, that kind of thing. So I just really feel that it would be one of those things that people should have a choice in the manner in which they make magic mushrooms a part of their life. And so I would hope that that would be something that we considered throughout this process. And like we did with medical cannabis, you're allowed to grow cannabis in small amounts for yourself, or maybe to give to other people, not necessarily to make a profit from. But I think that magic mushrooms can be a very positive thing for many people, and I don't think that it should just be monetized or corporatized, and or you know that those permissions necessarily
You have 30 seconds remaining.
That those permissions should not always need a permit or a payment. So, you know, economically, it's very cheap to grow your own medicine. And so I thank you for hearing me, and I hope you have a good journey with this. Bye.
Thank you.
Next is Ida Ortiz. I hope I pronounced your first name at least somewhat properly. Please unmute your line.
Me?
Yes, hello.
Hi, yeah, you got it right. My name is Quito Ortiz, and I'm a traditional yerbera and herbalist here in New Mexico. I practice, like many traditional healing paths here, use structured preparation, safe administration, and careful integration, which are the same 3 phases named in Section 3 of SB 219. So first, I urge the department to create a pathway for culturally trained, non-licensed facilitators to qualify as clinicians through alternative certification. Second, under Section 7, approved therapeutic settings should explicitly include ceremonial and community spaces. So like healing circles, sweat lodges, nature settings, as long as they meet safety standards. And third, Section 8 guarantees a tribal representative on the advisory board, which is important, but I ask that you also add a separate seat for a traditional medicine practitioner. This ensures that representation for all traditional healers, including non-tribal curanderas, yeperas, and others whose practices are rooted in New Mexico's heritage. This bill allows adding new qualifying conditions. So I ask you to please include cultural well-being and community well-being so that people without a Western diagnosis can still benefit from this program. And finally, by honoring both medical science and the cultural traditions that have stewarded this medicine for generations, this program can truly reflect New Mexico's diversity and history. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next is Amy Wong Hope. Amy, please unmute your mic. Amy? Okay, hearing nothing, we'll go to the next person. Next is Denali Wilson. Please unmute your line.
Good evening. I hope we can come back to Amy if she's able to come back into the queue. But my name is Denali Wilson. I am the New Mexico Director of Strategic Support for the Healing Advocacy Fund, which is a nonprofit that's committed to expanding and protecting safe, affordable, and equitable access to psychedelic healing for all those who need it. And as the department develops this program, I wanted to share a few priorities. First, among them is safety. People seeking psilocybin care deserve strong protections, and we recommend clear but balanced guardrails with different levels of licensing and training for each stage of care and each individual professional involved so that requirements match the responsibility of each role and each profession. Facilitators should be trained in a number of things, but some important topics are supportive touch, power dynamics, relational boundaries, cultural responsibility, when to seek medical help. And we also encourage the development of a code of ethics along with adverse event reporting and response protocols so that the program can protect both patients and continually improve. I want to talk also about affordability and equity. Many of us would agree that access should not be limited to those who can afford to pay thousands of dollars for care. Regulations should minimize unnecessary costs while paving the way for eventual insurance coverage. Some things we can do would be to, as the previous speaker said, recognize a broad definition of clinician under the statute, permitting group care models, authorizing the involvement of peer support workers, traditional healers, and other alternatively licensed care team members, and supporting and developing claims data research to encourage third-party payment. We also support diverse settings for treatments, from a therapy office, in-home care for homebound patients to outdoor or retreat spaces in order to maximize access and choice, but also, again, to ensure affordability and flexibility. When it comes to ensuring equity, we urge the state legislature to fully fund the program's equity fund and are committed to supporting the Department of Health's budget request when the time comes for that. Additionally, if adopted, any kinds of licensing preferences, training, scholarships, or other opportunities should prioritize Indigenous communities, those most impacted by the war on drugs, and those who have cultural ties to the traditional use of psilocybin. Things like advertising rules, if adopted, could also be used to protect
30
against
seconds remaining.
Protect against cultural misappropriation. And as they can, just to close, regulations should be as adaptive and flexible as possible, incorporating new evidence and community input over time and ensuring program viability in the long run. So thank you so much. Appreciate your time and your leadership.
Thank you.
We'll go back to Amy. Amy Wong Hope. Please unmute your line. Again, to do that, if you're connected via the Teams app on your computer, use the hand icon. If you're on a phone, you can press the 3 dots in the menu and the hand icon will appear. And if you're on a phone through voice only, press *6 to unmute your line. Okay, it looks like Amy has lowered her hand. So we will go to the next person, and that is Brett Phelps. Brett, please unmute your line. Okay, looks like he lowered his hand. Let's hear next from Craig Doherty. Craig, please unmute your line.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Craig Doherty. I'm with Chillax. Primarily, we've been a cannabis retailer throughout New Mexico, or here in Ruidoso, New Mexico. In the past, we have been a cultivator of mushrooms like lion's mane and reishi, and here in New Mexico, it seems like very little people have experience generally about mushrooms, but it seems to be a very expensive endeavor in other areas. If we look at Oregon right now, if you were to go there to try to participate, it would start roughly around like $2,500 for just one session, and those are just quite astronomical. I would like to just put forward that, you know, the regulation still is in effect, but not to over-regulate as to price out most New Mexicans from therapeutic use. The other thing as well, one thing that we've noticed from a lot of the things in Oregon too is that, you know, with the facilities, we've seen a lot of facilities kind of come and go. And unfortunately, it seems like that's really due to like the regulation of the facilitators themselves and to where they can actually practice and participate. It seems like Colorado has done different ways to where you can actually have a facilitator outside of just the normal facility to where they can go and participate in other designated areas. So I would just like to bring those to attention. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go next to Maximilian Esparza. Let me allow your mic. You can please unmute your line.
Hi, everyone. My name is Maximilian Esparza, and I am a mushroom farmer and international advocate of fungi and mushrooms for the last 4 years now. And I'm here representing my organization, Mycelium Matters. And I'm also here because I have had profound healing experiences with psilocybin. during COVID for my depression and for my ADD. I think it's important that this program is accessible, affordable, and inclusive. As far as accessibility, I think it's important that people across the region of New Mexico are serviced well, along with BIPOC, Black, Indigenous, people of color, and low-income communities, as well as at-home services for people who have disabilities. And I also find that out-of-state reciprocity would be very helpful and important, as I was a medical cannabis reciprocal patient back in 2018 and 19 with New Mexico, and it helped me greatly for my depression and with my sleep and appetite. And then I also think accessibility from the licensing aspect is important, as there should be multiple licenses and no monopolies, create access for cultivators, for practitioners, for labs. And it would be important to focus on the whole fruiting body of mushroom. Although I think there are patients who will seek out synthetic version of psilocybin because that is what they might find most comfortable working with, but it is important to have a focus and respect for the whole fruiting body of mushroom. And getting starting up early with lab permitting and consulting with labs in Colorado or California would also be very helpful. So early on, mushrooms can be lab tested, and we can see, you know, how we're dosing people and what compounds there are in these mushrooms. And then I find inclusivity. It is important to be inclusive and acknowledge all stakeholders who have been historically involved and currently involved as well, which is Indigenous people and tribal members and veterans and first responders. It is important that we include all voices and paths people walk and get their feedback for this program. And lastly, I think research is also
You have
would
30
be very
seconds remaining.
focusing on research early on, collecting data from cultivators, from universities, from practitioners and research companies, and keeping this program evidence-based, and opening up the program to other cultural practices and health disorders and illnesses, like migraine disorder, which my partner suffers from and has found great relief in psilocybin, along with phantom limb syndrome and so forth. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we'll go to Brett Phelps. Please unmute your line. Brett Phelps.
Brett, if you're speaking, we cannot hear you.
Okay, we'll move on. If you need to lower your hand because you no longer wish to provide comment, you can press *6 or the microphone button on the app. Next is Brenda Burgard. Brenda, please unmute your line. Brenda, it appears as though your line was unmuted momentarily and is muted again.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, your 3 minutes starts now.
Thank you for having me. This is a great opportunity. My name is Brenda Burgard. I am the president of Decriminalization for Psychedelics here in New Mexico. And we're an organization, nonprofit, and we support personal use, cultivating for personal use as well, religious freedom. We respect Indigenous rights, and we also are providing information about psychedelics and promoting education, safety, research, and law changes to reduce incarceration and mental health support. And at the same time, we want to be inclusive of all the people in the community of New Mexico to be involved with this so that we can join together and provide support for each other using especially psilocybin, and for people who want to use it for many uses. So being part of this organization, I'm hoping to give our full support throughout the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Brenda. And just because we are just over half an hour into the listening session, I just want, and I know we have had additional people join in. I just wanted to repeat some of the instructions. If you're interested in speaking, you will have 3 minutes to speak. To indicate you would like to speak is please raise the hand within Teams. The way to do that is if you are on a computer, click on the hand icon near the top of the Teams window, and it says raise under the icon. If you are on Teams app on a phone, please press the ellipses or the 3 dots in the menu, and then click on the hand icon, which will appear at that time. If you're joining through phone and voice only, please press *5 to raise or lower your hand. Once we call on you, in order to unmute your microphone, if you are on the computer, please click on the little microphone icon in the upper right-hand section of the Teams window. If you are on a phone with voice only, you can press *6. And Kathy, may we go to our next speaker?
Yes, our next speaker is Mitchell Dingle. Please unmute your line.
Hello, my name is Mitch Dingle, and I have been heavily involved with the medical cannabis industry since 2017, back in the DOH days. I have worked for many legacy producers, so I have a brief comment to add to the discussion. I implore the department to please be mindful and have a cap in mind of how many cultivation or production licenses will be granted. The application process should be fair and equal for all, but we do not want a flooded market, as it will no longer be medical or patient-centric and will inevitably become a profit-centric business model. It is my personal opinion that the medical psilocybin program mirror how successful the medical cannabis program was ran, as it was life-changing for thousands of New Mexicans who needed the medical relief, and it was a huge honor to have been a part of that. I just want to say kudos and props to the Department of Health. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we'll go to Gregory Evans. Please unmute your line.
Hello, thank you everyone for being here. This is wonderful to see everybody show up. Just making sure that you can hear me.
We can hear you.
We've got thunder and lightning, and I've lost internet twice, so bear with me if I disappear. So the biggest things that I want to talk about is testing, dosage, understanding standardization, and research and data collection. With analytical testing, there are some people, some companies that are doing it well and some companies that are not doing it as well. There is still yet to be full standardization in how people analyze HPLC data. So I'm currently very interested in how we can create an open source portal to allow disparate labs to go through a unified processing and data analytics function. The value in that is pointing back to an earlier comment about respecting the fruiting body and understanding the diversity of organic biomass. Different genetics, different growing conditions, and alkaloid profiles will exist, and they should, and that's important. But we also, for patients, especially people who are not familiar and comfortable with the landscape, definitely need a PCN level equivalent to all organic biomass, and that requires extensive testing. Moving into dosage and standardization, understanding what a microdose is, what a mini dose, therapeutic and super therapeutic doses are is super important, because some people just think eating mushrooms means stuffing a handful in your face. But what we're really moving towards is in a medical market is understanding that there are other ways to approach this. And I'm not against eating a bunch of mushrooms and having a spiritual experience, but that is not the correct pathway for every single person. I want to make sure that pathways are diverse and accessible. Research, I just think research.
You have 30 seconds remaining.
That's really all I have. I'll say research one more time. Thank you.
Okay, next we go to James Brown. James, please unmute your line.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for allowing me to have a few minutes with you today. My name is James Brown, and I'm an independent pharmacist here in New Mexico. I was a very big advocate, and I'm a veteran of 8 years with the Navy. I'm also a disabled vet, and so my advocacy work drives disabled access, as well as access to all New Mexicans for this very powerful substance. I've been trained in psilocybin in Oregon, and so I'm a facilitator trained individual coming to you guys asking the Department of Health to establish a framework that will focus on, again, as the theme says, research, clinical trials on the therapeutic use of psychedelics, as well as primarily psilocybin at this point, education and public awareness campaign of the public. That should include the general public, specifically professionals, disabled, veterans, Native Americans, First People, and all other New Mexicans. And that's a very broad in New Mexico, as you guys know. I would like to see from north to south, from east to west, all New Mexico needs to be represented here. Licensing of mental health professionals authorized to administer psychedelics as psilocybin as part of their treatment programs, and look at those caveats as to individuals with insurance, a licensure, protection in the setting will be very important to discuss and bills to come up with. Setting is very important with this, as well as licensure with grandfathering for other people who maybe don't have access to funding. But the home setting will be very large focus, as well as for the end of life therapy. I'm a very big believer of having these settings in homes, as long as you have consent forms that I'm very familiar with. And as long as that's in place and the licensure is there and insurance is there, people should be allowed to have these rituals, these ceremonies, these personal experiences and journeys at home. And so I really want to challenge that and say, we don't want to be anything that has to do with personally, the Colorado model or the Oregon model. This is New Mexico. We need to establish a New Mexican model that is geared around New Mexico.
You have 30 seconds remaining.
Having access and also protecting traditional use of, their Native American tribes is essential, because that will preserve their cultural heritage and practices. The Department of Health shall develop public education campaigns, and again, develop these guidelines that develop safe use, including, as you guys heard, dosing, settings, and patient screening forms. That's going to be very big as intake. I have not heard that yet. Intake is going to be very big. And what are we doing
Your
with
time
that?
is up.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Okay, next we'll go to May S. Please unmute your line.
Hello, my name is May, and I work as a pastoral minister. I see clients and have been working with many people who come from me out of state who have endeavored in different types of treatments and are lacking the integration for these powerful moments for themselves. They have gone into a medical realm, been given the dose, sit there for 20 minutes, observed, and then they leave and they don't understand what is happening to their bodies and their minds. And so I would really push forth and kind of echo what I heard from Quinto Ortiz, is that there are different practitioners out there that are not just medical providers or mental health counselors that can help make sense of the integration process that is so important to this type of work. If we don't integrate it, it becomes almost voyeuristic. It becomes almost recreational. And so this is a huge part of this process. It's not just the education and the research, the licensing. We need people that can help make sense of the spiritual unfolding for themselves and help our clients integrate these magic moments, these momentous changes that are happening within them. Without this integration, this is voyeuristic, this is recreational, and could very much verge on taking something like, penicillin or, antidepressants. And so I do agree with the screening. I do agree with the ethics, the research, the education, but we do need to bring this into a holistic sense so that we're not bringing people into these realms and then dropping them back into this world that doesn't make sense to us. We need integration. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I apologize. It looks like I might have skipped over Brett Phelps. Brett, your mic is open. Please unmute your line.
Yes, good evening. I think the third time is the charm. Just had to get onto my phone instead of the computer. Thank you guys very much. My name is Brett Phelps. I am an attorney based in Las Vegas, New Mexico. Here representing myself. No stake in this other than just wanting to see the program succeed. So first of all, I would just like to thank our legislators, our Department of Health, and all the advocates who made this program happen. We have a very special opportunity here in New Mexico to be a leader in this space, not only for the country, but across the world. And I think the most important thing that the department should be looking at to achieve a successful program is patient accessibility. How do we make this accessible and affordable to as many people as possible? And I think the first element of that I would mention is to make sure that these regulations are not overly burdensome. There's been a lot of comments already about being able to incorporate as many people into this program as providers and producers, as long as we can do that safely. But if it's overly burdensome for regulations, the traditional practitioners, the smaller, the mom and pop kind of operations are not going to be able to thrive. The other element that I would really like to highlight, particularly coming from the northeast of New Mexico, is we really need to focus on how to provide services to our rural communities. Access to healthcare in rural areas is already very difficult. And so the program, should really get creative in looking at how we can adequately serve our rural communities. And so I think there's a lot of different ways to do that, but that's just something that I highlight because it's easy for a lot of our state to kind of get lost in the discussions. And so would just really ask the department to focus on, how can we provide this service to as many people as possible across our very vast state. So with that, thank you very much for the time. Thank you for your patience with me having to go through this a couple times and getting on. And yeah, really looking forward to see where the program goes. So thank you again.
Thank you. And we did have one other person who had some issues earlier, Amy Wong Hope. Would you like to speak at this time? If you would, we can unmute. There we go. Perfect. You can go ahead and unmute your mic, Amy, and we'll go ahead and start it. There we go. We can hear you.
I think it might have worked. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for your perseverance, and thank you, Denali, for helping me out, and also Brett. Okay, so my name is Amy Wong Hope. I'm a clinical social worker and a trauma therapist, and I run a psychedelic studies program at Southwestern College. My main concern is about how to make this treatment affordable for New Mexicans, and I think that's on everyone's mind. I know the regulations have to be there for accountability for the practitioners and safety for the state of New Mexico actually taking this step and doing this. So thank you, New Mexico Department of Health and our legislators for doing this. And it's very exciting. But what happens is the minimum cost really for every journeyer is probably going to be about $1,500, and that would be inexpensive. And that's due to the high cost of rent for where people can use psilocybin in Colorado and Oregon. And that's due to the rental fees. Journeyers will pay a minimum of like $500 to $800 just for the room alone or that day use. And so I'm wondering if the board and the New Mexico Department of Health can consider some sort of comprehensive real estate suite of regulations that would allow existing licensed clinicians under the psilocybin program to practice within different environments. Many of the people who are renting are also renting from their landlords, and landlords might have mortgages that are federal. So there needs to be some rules and regulations to protect those landlords as well. So that's one of the big questions I have. And then the other one is, just as Brett said, I would love to see more rural-based interventions for those to be affordable group psilocybin models that would allow people to access this treatment. And then third-party payments, possibly from Medicaid payers for this as well. I really want to see that traditional medicine facilitators who don't go through traditional training programs can get licensed, and that they just need to maybe know about or agree to a certain type of safety standard so that there could be these interventions in different nation, tribe, and Pueblo locations. My next thing is really about budget and wondering what kind of budget supports
remaining.
The program. Is there diversification in the funding? Because if it's going to be based on licensing fees, I'm very, very worried, because in Oregon, that has really been a problem. Only 50% of facilitators renewed their licenses. And so that program is really in bankruptcy. So that's it. I want to thank you all for this and these listening sessions, and I'm excited to see what happens.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we will go to Charles Godfrey. Charles, please unmute your line.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I'm a retired physician, and my voice is one of caution. I have been alive long enough to have benefited from drugs like psilocybin in the 60s, and also witnessed to the repression that occurred for 50 years after that. 219 is a very progressive law in a very repressive atmosphere in this country. I think I'm really pleased that this passed the legislature, but I think that we have to stick to what the law dictates, which is use for specific diagnoses with a medical model. My own opinion is that psilocybin probably is more beneficial in a spiritual way than in a medical way. But I think we are not there in terms of what the law has authorized. And not that you can't have both, and I think you often do have both. But I think because the law dictates that we follow certain diagnoses and a medical model of use, And because of this previous history of repression, I think we have to stick to the law.
Thank you.
Okay, next we will go to Dr. Lisa Martinez. Please unmute your line.
Hi there. My name is Dr. Lisa Martinez, and I'm a practitioner of curanderismo in Colorado. And as we're witnessing how things are evolving here in Colorado, I just really want to encourage that as New Mexico implements the Medical Psilocybin Act, that they have a really amazing opportunity here, especially since New Mexico recognizes traditional healing through the Unlicensed Healthcare Practice Act. You all name curanderas, medicine people, and other traditional healers in that law as carrying generational knowledge, and it's trusted by the community there. In Colorado, we're seeing a lot of difficulties with the accessibility already, especially when it comes to traditional healers, because they weren't specifically included. Our law doesn't cover by name traditional practitioners. We have a consumer Protection Act, but we're not named explicitly. So we have a lot of things that we and hoops that we have to jump through in order to practice often. You know, our communities have a lot of deep ties to our sacred medicines, and oftentimes we're the ones that are left out or we're pushed to the margins. And excluding the traditional healers is going to create a really difficult and maybe even like a two-tiered system that privileges Western clinical providers and sidelining the people whose communities have safeguarded these sacred plants for so long, and especially our mushroom medicine too, you know. So I'm just really urging the Department of Health and the advisory board to explicitly include and protect traditional healers in this framework, provide cultural training, apprenticeships, and community recognition. It must be respected as valid qualifications alongside clinical licensure. We can work with elders. There's ways to acknowledge and verify and validate, and also include those ethical, you know, code of ethics and safety training in that. This is really about equity and cultural safety, and ensuring that those who may benefit from the psilocybin's healing potential can also access it in a way that's safe and respectful and aligned with cultural traditions. I just, you know, it's something that we're witnessing. I feel really passionate about, and
You have 30 seconds remaining.
I just really love that New Mexico has that law in place, and this is a really incredible opportunity to excel that and to see it really blossom into something beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we don't see any additional hands. If there is somebody who is interested in speaking and who has not yet spoken, please go ahead and raise your hand at this time. And again, in order to raise your hand, if you are joining us on a computer on the Teams app there, just go to the top of the Teams window and click on the hand icon. If you are on the Teams app on a phone, please press the ellipses in the menu and then the hand icon, which will appear. And if you are joining through phone and through voice only, you can press *5 to either raise or lower your hand. And we'll give people a few moments to raise their hands if there's, again, anyone else who has not yet spoken who would like to speak at this time.
Okay, we'll go to Chris Viscusi. Chris, please unmute your line. Sorry if I botched your last name.
Hello, everyone. My name is Chris Piskuski, and I'm an independent advocate and ambassador for the Heroic Hearts Project. I just wanted to thank everybody for their comments tonight and tell everyone that I'm just really looking forward to this whole process and continuing to work and talk with you all about how to implement all of this. And it's just very exciting. And I thank you all for your time and coming to this meeting and for bringing up all these wonderful points. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris. And Greg, we're just going to go ahead and skip you for just a little bit. We want to make sure everybody has the opportunity to speak first, and then we'll come back to you for a second round once we are able to go through everybody. Okay.
Okay, next we have Philip Toledo. Philip, please unmute your line.
This is Philip Toledo representing Shroom Biosis, which is a company just starting in the cultivating mushrooms and cannabis. We hope to engage with the medical industry and supplying high-end product. Please reach out. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who would like to speak at this time? Again, if you would like to, for the first time, if you would like to, please just raise your hand in the Teams app and program. And again, we'll give people a few moments to be able to do so. And if there is not anyone, we will start on if anybody who has already spoken would like to speak again. Okay, if there is anybody who has already spoken and would like a second turn to speak, please go ahead and raise your hand at this time.
Gregory Evans, please unmute your line.
I just want to say, Chris, it is so good to hear your voice. Everybody else that I know, thank you so much for everything. I forgot to mention the first time I spoke, I am independent. I'm just a person who has received so much from this medicine that I am compelled to support it in a way that I feel allows it to exist in a manner that provides increased access to people who may not have known that this is medicine that can help them, whether it's physically or mentally or spiritually or some combination of all those things. So that being said, I wanted to echo a bunch of statements about home cultivation. I think right now we have current precedent legally in the state of New Mexico where home cultivation is fine as long as you don't pick the mushrooms, which kind of like makes it okay, which has put our state in a space where people are cultivating. And so there is a lot of really valuable knowledge here in the state. And we should really leverage that. I lost my notes. Access and equity. I'm a huge I will shout from the rooftops the value of home use, home daily use. I think it's super important for integration models to allow access to prescription level doses that would be in the micro and mini categories of dosing, so that after a giant experience, when we're folding these like revelations back into our lives, e.g. integration, that we have some sort of platform of support in medically to help that process. I'm sure I'm running close to the time, but yeah, I have a lot to say about policy and stuff, but I think kind of push that to a later, more developed conversation.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Amy Wong Hope again. Amy, please unmute your line.
Hi, there were just a few more points I wanted to touch on. One is about educational awareness with the New Mexican community, especially the substance use community or use provider community, as well as the Nation tribe and pueblos that are throughout the state of New Mexico. I know there is a tribal liaison that the DOH has engaged, and my hope is that there is a very robust advisory council member, as well as subcommittee that supports that advisory council member, as well as the tribal liaison, and ensuring that there is adequate awareness made within those Nation, tribe, and Pueblo communities about psilocybin as an option and the ways in which they might want to implement those programs in their own sovereign nations as well. So the request would be for the New Mexico Advisory Board and DOH to ensure that any rules and regulations do not impede or cause any problems for those Nation, tribe, and Pueblos if they choose to implement their own programs, psilocybin programs or other psychedelic assisted therapy programs or healing programs. My other question or concern is about training and licensing of the licensed clinicians within the psilocybin program. And my hope that there would be an option to have a very New Mexican based creation of that training program rather than psychedelic assisted therapy or psilocybin training programs that come from other states, because I think New Mexico is a very, very different population to treat. And for our psilocybin treatments to be really appropriate to the culture here, it needs to be the trainers and the contextual program curriculum needs to be specific to our state. So thank you very much again.
Thank you.
Okay, next we'll go to May S. May, please unmute your line.
Thanks again for having this meeting. I think it's so important, and it's such a beautiful act that New Mexico is looking at integrating this into medical practices. I don't know if this was, beating a dead horse, but I want to reiterate that this practice has been in use by cultures historically throughout time, and we need to give credence to those cultures that have this experience and refer to them not just in the medical realm and medical testing, but we do need to give credo to the peoples that have been using this medicine and to refer to them for their expertise. This is a generational expertise that they have. And so I do hope that it is a holistic approach where we are consulting with the cultures that have been using this. Thank you so much for your time. And I'm just so happy to see all these people here. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, next we'll go to Marlena Robbins. Marlena, please unmute your line.
Hello, my name is Marlena. I'm a fourth-year doctor of public health candidate at UC Berkeley, and I'm currently conducting research on the Navajo Reservation. I'm Dene from Window Rock, Arizona, and so I'm trying to understand the implications that these psilocybin legislative efforts within the Four Corners, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and Utah have on the tribal government system, Navajo healthcare practitioners, traditional practitioners. And so I just want to echo two things. One, the previous speaker made about highlighting indigenous cultures and the ceremonies that have been created to hold mushrooms as a medicine, as a container, as a vessel, because ceremony is a technology. When we're going into other realms with these medicines, we're opening portals, we're opening doors, and sometimes things get let in that shouldn't be there, or maybe we might get lost. So there's a reason for ceremony. There's a reason that these medicines are held in a certain container. And then Amy Wong talked about education. When I'm approaching the Navajo Nation, we don't have stories about mushrooms. We have one story that they make you go blind. And so those are stories that need to be heard. And I think education needs to be built into that at different levels, from the youth to the adults to the elders, different exposure. How is psilocybin being talked about at the mainstream level through social media, through TikTok, Reddit, what have you? and what information is out there, and how do we inform tribal leaders about psilocybin? What is it? What taboos come with it? What stories come with it? So education, information building, I think needs to be out there in order for tribes to make an informed decision about whether they want psilocybin assisted therapy within their reservation boundaries, within their healthcare system. I'll stop there. Thank you.
Thank you. And once again, we have come to the end of our list of the individuals with their hands raised. So if there is someone who would like to speak, whether you have spoken previously or have not spoken at all at this time, please go right on ahead and raise your hand. And again, if you are on a computer on Teams, just click on the hand icon near the top of the Teams window. If you are on the Teams app on your phone, please press the ellipses or the three dots in the menu, and then the hand icon will appear for you to be able to select it. If you're joining on a phone through voice only, please press *5 to raise or lower your hand. So since we have a little bit of a pause, for those who had joined a little bit later, just our update from the program was that currently the program is working with both the Office of the Governor and the Department of Health Secretary to assemble the Medical Psilocybin Advisory Board, and that we are planning on having the board be seated in September, which has previously been announced. Once the board is seated, there will be several additional public meetings and listening sessions scheduled. Some of those public meetings will be conducted in person, and some of them will be virtual or hybrid. We do have another listening session that is scheduled for tomorrow or for next Wednesday, September 3rd, starting at 3 p.m. And to register for that listening session, if you would like, just please visit the program website, which is showing on the screen right now, and just register for that. If you do share the information about the listening sessions to others, please let them know that they can register by visiting the links on the website rather than emailing to the program. When they individuals email to the program, we simply have to refer them back to the registration links. So please make sure if you are doing so, and we appreciate, by the way, when individuals or organizations are amplifying the notices that we have sent out. And so thank you very much for doing that. Just please let them know to go to the website and to register through the links provided in the website. And again, if for some reason you do not get the opportunity to speak today, or if you just do not want to voice here on a public forum, you are welcome to provide a written statement, but those options will be provided at a later time after the board has been seated. And so I'd like to ask at this time, are there additional individuals who would like to speak? And again, this could be someone who has not spoken, or if someone has already spoken.
There are currently no additional hands raised.
So we have this meeting scheduled until 7:30 p.m. tonight. We will continue to remain on the line in the event that individuals join late so that they have the opportunity to express their thoughts, comments, and ideas. And so we will stay and remain here at that point until 7:30 this evening. And I should mention individuals are welcome to stay to hear in case anyone else does join and provide any information or comments. However, it is not required. We will have the listening sessions will be posted online after they have concluded. It may take a week or so for them to be published on our website, but we will do so in the near future. And also, as mentioned earlier, the information and the questions that have been asked tonight will be utilized and will be utilized in the creation of our FAQ, which we hope to publish soon. We do have about 15 minutes remaining in our session. So once again, if there is anybody who is interested in speaking further, please go ahead and raise your hand. And again, the method to raise your hand is if you are on a computer on Teams, please click on the hand icon that is near the top of the Teams window. If you are on an app on your phone or a tablet, please press the ellipses, the three dots that are in the menu, and then click on the hand icon. If you're joining on a phone through voice only, please press *5 to raise or lower your hand.
Currently, there are no raised hands.
I would again like to thank everybody who is here on the call and the listening session with us today. If there is anyone who has thought of something they would like to add at this time, please go ahead and raise your hand and we'll be more than happy to hear your comments, ideas, and suggestions. And for those who would just like to sit here quietly with us a little bit, I recommend some deep breathing techniques.
There was just someone new admitted into the meeting.
Thank you, Kathy. Just so that everyone is aware, we are just taking any individuals who would like to make comments can go ahead and just raise their hand. So for the new individuals who have joined, if you are on a computer on the Teams program, click on the hand icon near the top of the window. If you are on the Teams app on your phone, please press the three ellipses or the three dots, and then the hand icon will appear and you can select it. Or if you are on a phone and voice only, pressing *5 will allow you to raise or lower your hand. And again, we appreciate everybody who has made comments today. But at this time, if anybody would like to make any additional comments, you are welcome to. And again, we will stay on the line until 7:30, our appointed time to end the listening session, in the event other individuals would like to make comments or join late. And for those who were not here in the very beginning, my name is Dr. Dominic Zerlo. I am the director for the New Mexico Department of Health Center for Medical Cannabis and Psilocybin. And some of our other team members here today from our center is Brenda Martinez, our deputy director, Rosalie Nava, our health education program manager, our health education team members, who are Carmen Batista, Katie Freitag, and Adrian Estrada. And we have helping us with technical issues and timekeeping, Kathy Ojiri, who is our IT project manager. So I'd like to thank each of them for assisting and being present today. They are a part of the team that will allow this program to be successful.
Yeah, there are currently no hands raised.
We have
Jessica, please unmute your line.
Jessica, if you are speaking, we can't hear you. At this point, you do need to unmute your mic by using either the icon that is usually in the upper right on the Teams app, or if you were on your phone, it is *6. If you are voice only. If you are on the phone app, it is at the bottom of the screen, or is usually at the bottom of the screen. And so you just need to unmute that.
Jessica's line is still muted.
Jessica, we will come back to you shortly to see if you've been able to unmute. In the meantime, we will go to Amy Wong Hope. Amy, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, Jessica, I was there. You might want to log out and log back in because that's what solved it for me. Okay. But I did have a comment. One is actually the person who just left. I did want to wonder about, what types of people will be allowed to be the licensed clinicians within the psilocybin program. And something that was brought up to me by the Oregon folks is that they were not allowed to be natural medicine facilitators in the state of Colorado in their psilocybin program. So that is a wondering, how vast or wide we might make our requirements, or who can apply to be a psilocybin facilitator. The other one is I wonder about palliative care clinicians, doctors, and also death doulas, and hope that death doulas would be allowed to be licensed psilocybin clinicians within this program as well, because I think death doulas really understand and hold that process of transition for people, and also something that the palliative care community talks about frequently. And I'm not sure we heard from many palliative care providers today. I hope we hear some in the future. But I know that one thing that they've wanted in all of the other states is to be allowed to provide psilocybin sessions inside the home. And another request that I would have for me, just as a social worker, that I would love to see is possibly an expansion of who is allowed to undergo psilocybin treatment. Would not just be the person who's having distress from the terminal illness, but the family members who are caretaking of the person who is in the process of passing away from a terminal illness. So I hope that rule might expand within the way that it's interpreted to allow for that too. So I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. And then I did see that Jessica had rejoined. Jessica, are you? Oh, and it looks like Jessica is leaving again. So, okay. Well, we do have a few minutes left. Are there other individuals who would like to speak? And it looks like, Jessica, you have joined again. Would you like to speak? If you would, just unmute.
Your line is still muted, Jessica.
Oh, finally. Hi. I'm
Hi.
sorry.
Hello, Jessica. Welcome.
Hi. Thank you. Thank you for letting me in like 3 different times. Um, I was saying that we ran out of internet in Truth or Consequences where I am, and I think there was a TDS outage in several other places in the state. So we just got it back, and I wasn't able to join until now, even on the phone. So I'm glad I got a chance to meet you all for the last minutes of this session. And I'm hoping that maybe the session has been recorded and I could listen to it afterwards. And I did register for the one on September as well.
Well, I think that is a legitimate question we can answer, Jessica. We are recording this, and after the sessions are complete, we will be posting them to our website. And so just look on the website over the next couple of weeks for the actual recordings.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'm glad that you were able to join.
Thank you.
And so is there anyone else who would like to speak? We have 3 minutes left, so time for one more individual if someone has any last minute items they'd like to express.
There are no new hands raised.
We have just a couple minutes more. So once again, if there's anybody who has any last minute items they'd like to bring up, please do so now. And if not, if people think of things in the meantime, again, we will have the other listening session next Wednesday, September 3rd, starting at 3 p.m. And to register for that one, you go to the same place on our website in the announcement sections in order to go ahead and register for that session. And I'll make one final call. Is there anybody who would like to say anything at this time? Hey, with
There are no
that
hands
being the
raised.
case,
Yeah.
oh, thank you, Kathy. With that being the case, we'd like to thank you again for joining us tonight. And we would just like to also mention that for other additional announcements, please check out our website where you'll be able to see announcements as they move forward. We are also working with our communications team in order to create a listserv. And once that is available, it will be announced on our website. Brenda, I believe that you have a comment, Brenda, if you would like. Oh, no.
Brenda, unmute your mic.
Yes, I just wanted to say thank you for having this. This is a really wonderful way to get everybody together to make a comment on what the DOH is doing and coming forward with all of this. It's wonderful to see, and I wanted to thank you very much for having all of us here today.
Thank you, Brenda. And with that, we will conclude tonight's listening session. And thank you all very much for joining us. We look forward to hearing from you in the future, and we appreciate your comments and your insights tonight. Thank you very much.